Okay, all. In furtherance of trying to make SLO assessment both easy and meaningful, this video is meant to make things easy. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to illustrate how I personally use a thing called EdPuzzle to create a quiz embedded in a video to evaluate one of my SLOs. So the first thing you would want to do is go into CurricuNet, look for a course. My course is Calc 3 18C, so I'm searching 18C. I find the course outline of record. In my course outline of record, I'm interested in what are the student learning outcomes, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, so there's apply Stokes theorem. Well, frankly, I'm going to ask him to apply Stokes theorem on the final exam. So I'm just going to use that question on the final exam to evaluate whether or not the students have learned how to apply Stokes theorem. This other thing about applying integrals and derivatives in multidimensional space is also a bunch of questions on the final. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the questions on the final that relate to those areas and average the results and then decide whether or not the students met the SLO of applying derivatives and integrals. This other one, using vectors in multidimensional space, it's in essentially all of the questions on the final. And so if I kind of use the final to establish whether or not the students know how to use vectors in multidimensional space, really I'm not answering that question. I'm just answering the question of, did they pass the final or not? And that's not really what I want to do with this, because this should be the easiest SLO for them to meet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video about vectors in multidimensional space, and then I'm going to embed a quiz in it, and then I'm going to give that quiz to my students, and then I'm going to use that to assess this SLO. So I've already made an outline for my video, and I'm sure this is totally meaningless to most of you, but basically it starts with some basics in the video, and then I'm intending to ask the question, what's a vector? And then I'm reviewing some more stuff, and then I'm intending to ask a question about the category of some mathematical object, which is in this case a dot product. And then I'm reviewing some more geometric interpretations, and then I'm asking them a question about geometric interpretations, and then I'm reviewing some line integral stuff, and then I'm asking them a question about why it works the way it does, and then I'm reviewing some stuff about calculating some stuff, and then I'm asking them a question about what category of thing they're calculating. So the video itself is just going to be like essentially a review tool that I would like my students to have anyway, and then I'm just embedding this quiz into it. So I need to get that quiz or this video up somewhere. So the way EdPuzzle works is you can put a YouTube video into EdPuzzle and then stick quiz questions on it. So I chose to make my own video. That doesn't necessarily have to happen. So here I am at my YouTube video manager page, and I'm going to go into upload, and then I'm going to pull in my videos off of my GoPro. I'm going to drop that in here. I'm going to call that something meaningful like vector video SLO assessment or something. The name doesn't have to be super meaningful because my students aren't going to see this name. And then I'm going to make this thing unlisted because I don't really want my students who subscribe to my YouTube channels to see it, because I'm going to put it on EdPuzzle. And then I'm putting it in an unlisted playlist called EdPuzzle quiz videos. If you don't have students subscribe to your YouTube accounts, this matters so much less. So I'm going to click done on that thing. So now it's uploaded as an unlisted YouTube video on my YouTube account. And then I'm just going to go back into my video manager, and I'm going to see that it's there. And then I'm going to go into EdPuzzle, and I'm going to need to pause this for a second because this video is going to take a minute to process. Okay, so my video finished uploading. Here it is. And I'm going to open EdPuzzle, and I've already created a class for this. And if you haven't created anything, you can just upload one video at a time. You don't have to have all this organization. So I've got my class. I'm going to go into my content. I'm going to go into the folder for that. And again, you don't have to have folders if you don't have a bunch of classes. And then I'm going to go into create new video. So once I'm in the new video area, I want to go down and select a YouTube video. And then I need to get the URL for the YouTube video that I created. So I need to go over to my YouTube videos. And from the video manager, you can get at the URL by hitting edit on the video you want. And then down here, there's a YouTube video URL that you just grab, copy, paste. So here's my YouTube video on EdPuzzle. And now I don't need to crop, add audio notes. All I want to do is add a quiz. So I'm going to go over to quiz, and I'm going to add a quiz. Here's my question down here. So I want to add a question at this point in the video. If you want to figure out where you are in the video, you can hit play. Okay, and that sounds like a really great point for me to pause this video and ask this question, which is going to be multiple choice, and it's going to be, what is a vector? And then I could put answers in here like, it's food, or it's a magnitude and a direction, or it's Steve, or it's whatever, right? So add some nice answers to these. And then you can select which ones are right and wrong. So I want a magnitude and a direction to be the right answer and everything else to be wrong. And then I can save this question, and then I can move along in my video to another point where I want to ask another question. So here I'm talking about vector operations, and one of the things on my outline is to ask what category of object they get out of a dot product. So I might listen to this and find an appropriate spot to ask that question, and then put in that question here. So in the end, what you'll get is a video with some questions in it, and then you hit finish. And you'll want to prevent skipping. You can add a due date if you so desire. I want to add this to the 18C class and hit assign. And then I want to go give this to my students, right? So if you hit share assignments, you can just grab this direct access link and email it to your students. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to go email blast that to my Calc 3 students, and then write a little note in the email that says something like, hey guys, take this quiz, I'll see you later, it's a nice little review of vectors, it's required or not, whatever. So this should hopefully make assessing some of those SLOs a little bit easier. And my hope is that you could just reuse this video the next time you have to assess this SLO in this class, because I do realize it's a little bit of work, but it also doesn't take any grading, because EdPuzzle tells the students as they go whether what they got was right or wrong, and then reports that information to you. So like if I want to, let me pull up one of my other videos. So here's one of my other videos. If I want to find out how my students did, I grab progress, and then I can see their score on the video, when they watched it, what time they turned it in, whether they were late or not, all of that jazz. And I can export that as a CSV, which I can email directly to Danielle when she's asking me if I've done my SLO assessment for such and such a class. I can email that to her and say, here's the results for SLO number 1, here's the results for SLO number 2, and here's the results for SLO number 3. Or I could even log into eLumen and enter it myself, and it won't take very much effort. Thanks, guys.